Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots. Bootlickers, shills, dead slicers, peasants, vassals, minions, other minions. I'm a useful idiot. Welcome. And today I want to go to the saga unfolding in northern Syria now. And this is timed well with the announcement of these new U.S. so-called coalition airstrikes in Syria. And I would assume that some of them are going to involve this region and this incident, which of course has been in the headlines, particularly in the West. Another heart-wrenching story of Kurds in and around the area of Kobani in northern Syria, in the Kurdish regions, and the Peshmerga have withdrawn, and somewhere, depending on which story you read, 20 to 50 to 100 villages have been captured, and the numbers have been growing steadily of Kurds who are fleeing to Turkey. It started out from between 50 and 60,000. The next thing you know was 80,000. After that it was 100,000. Now I believe it's up to 140,000 of these Kurds are fleeing to Turkey. So it'll be interesting to see what the numbers really are. Turkey already has 1.6 million refugees from the Syrian war, so they can hardly absorb too many more. And apparently this ISIS assault there has been pretty substantial. Of course, they're armed with all these rockets, tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles. And so for coalition forces there now, certainly that sort of assault would be an easy target for the U.S. and their planners. And as odd as it seems, the relationship of the United States with the PKK, and that's the armed wing of the Kurds in Turkey, and they are labeled as a terrorist group by Turkey, and they are labeled as a terrorist group by the United States, but the United States is working with the PKK as they help the Kurds in Iraq, and now we have the PKK who have also been helping the Kurds in Syria, and for some reason the United States still finds that relationship problematic, interesting in itself. But the militias in Kurdish militias in Syria could be a formidable force to use in any kind of United States coalition in Syria. The militias there, the YPG, purport to have over 50,000 members. So between them and all the other Kurdish forces in the region, there's certainly a lot of forces that can be put into the field. And then we also, in this huge scenario, we have Turkey calling for a buffer zone in Syria, and in some respects would create a no-fly zone and a protective zone for the Kurds in the north of Syria, almost in the same way the United States did for Iraq, but I'm not sure how that would fly, so to speak. But that would also be giving some sort of relief to Aleppo at some point. But this new saga with the Kurdish regions under attack, I'll be interested to see in the next few days, as I said, how much these U.S. strikes in Syria are in relief of this area around Kobani, and what are the potentials for mustering any kind of counterattack by the Kurds or others. So an interesting situation, but it's sad to see the Kurds being subjected to this onslaught by ISIS. They've managed to stave off Al-Qaeda all these years. They've managed to carve out and sustain some sort of sanity in that country, in the Kurdish regions. Now ISIS is imposing on them, and it's a tragedy to see this happening, and my heart goes out to all my Kurdish friends. So there we have it. The ISIS onslaught on northern Syria, very serious operation, once again shows that the forces that ISIS has managed to muster in the field must be relatively substantial to withstand 180 some odd, 190 U.S. airstrikes in Iraq, and also have a new offensive there, as well as launching this new offensive in Syria, and continuing to put pressure on the Assad government. And now we have U.S. airstrikes, which is going to make this all the more complicated. So now all of these stories tying together to create yet another layer of clusterfuck on top of clusterfuck, sort of a clusterfuck layered cake. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?